So, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Firstly, let me thank His Grace Paramatma Prabhu for engaging me and allowing me to speak on this special occasion. Since we are upstairs in the Mandir, we are very fortunate to be blessed by the association of Lord Ganesha and Lord Shiva, and Mother Saraswati, Lakshmi Narayan, Mother Durga, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman, and Shri Radha Krishna. So we are very, very fortunate this evening, based on what you had said. So we should be glad that we have the association of these wonderful celestial beings to guide us in this discourse. I am not qualified to actually sit in this chair to speak. However, I was asked by His Grace Paramatma Prabhu and I kindly obliged. I don't do this often, so I'm very practical in my philosophy, and I hope that I do not cause any offenses when I give this small discourse in whatever way I can deliver. So let's start with some invocations. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manabhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapsha Kanchana Gaurange Radha Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhaischa Kripa Sindhubhaivacha Patitanam Pavanabhayo Vaishnavabhayo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Shari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So thank you for that. I've been asked, and we discussed this with Paramatma Prabhu, to speak on the verse 3.21, and we're speaking from the Bhagavad Gita as it is, by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Not sure if everyone knows what the Bhagavad Gita as it is. If not, I can explain, and then we can go into the discourse. If everyone knows, then I can continue with the discourse. We know where the Bhagavad Gita was spoken, etc., and why it was spoken. So, before we start, special praise of invocation. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So, chapter 3, text 21. Yajad achari shrestас tattat evataro jana sayat pramanam kurate lokastat anuvartate. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. People in general always require a leader who can teach the public by practical behavior. A leader cannot teach the public to stop smoking if he himself smokes. Lord Chaitanya said that a teacher should behave properly before he begins teaching. One who teaches in that way is called Acharya, or the ideal teacher. Therefore, a teacher must follow the principles of Shastra, scripture, to teach the common man. The teacher cannot manufacture rules against the principles of revealed scriptures. The revealed scriptures, like the Manu, Samhita, and similar others, are considered the standard books to be followed by human society. Thus, the leader's teaching should be based on the principle of such standard Shastras. One who desires to improve himself must follow the standard rules as they are practiced by the great teachers. The Srimad Bhagavatam also affirms that one should follow in the footsteps of great devotees, and that is the way of progress in the path of spiritual realization. The king or the executive head of a state, the father and the school teacher are all considered to be natural leaders of the innocent people in general. All such natural leaders have a great responsibility to their dependents. Therefore, they must be conversant with the standard books of moral and spiritual codes. That ends the purport of Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So, chapter 3, verse 21 speaks about whatever a great man, whatever action a great man performs, common men follow, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. So chapter 3 focuses on Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga, if one doesn't understand it, karma means action and akarma means inaction. So we understand it in Krishna consciousness to be action in Krishna consciousness. Karma Yoga, we term it as action in Krishna consciousness in simple layman's terms. What is actions of a great man? In life, dear devotees, once you are born in this material body, your body is sure to die. So we understand that. So between birth and death is our life. And every action that one performs in that life determines your future. In this life, as well as your next life and the life thereafter. Karma, as we understand it. For every action, there's a reaction. So, in simple terms, for us that are sitting here, before we talk about leaders, spiritual leaders, material leaders in the material world, presidents, prime ministers, governors, whoever they may be called, in your lives, in our lives, in my life, doing good, what you sow, so shall you reap. So whatever you do good, you get good. You do bad, you get bad. So whatever actions a great man performs, we don't have to worry about great men. We worry about ourselves first. Because at the end of the day, a great man can be the president of the country. And let's look at our presidents of our countries. Let's talk about President Zuma. He's a great man to others, and he's not a great man to some. He's a president of the country, and he should act in a certain way that is befitting of a president. Unfortunately, his acts are not that befitting of a president. So therefore, if we have to follow acts of great men, do we consider President Zuma a great man? And if we were following him, where would we be now? So, in that similar way, I was speaking to Shudi Prabhu this afternoon regarding the same verse. For me personally, I like to take advice from senior devotees and senior Vaishnavas in order for me to give a better understanding of spiritual life. So we take direction from senior leaders. And he was speaking about Kamala Harris he was speaking about, I'll go through it right now with you. He was speaking of Tulsi Gabbard as well. And he's saying that at the end of the day, we as devotees to try to reach the leaders of society and give them some sort of Krishna consciousness. So that when they have Krishna consciousness in their lives, they're able to do things properly. They're able to lead by example. In the purport, they speak about an acharya, one who leads by example. And I can add to that, there's also pracharya, one who teaches by example. So that common phrase you got that they speak of, practice what you preach. Practice what you preach. I tweak it a little bit. I also say preach what you practice. So whatever you practice, you must preach it. You know? It's always not about practice what you preach. It's preach what you practice. It's the same thing, but turned around. It makes a big difference. So in understanding that, we understand who Srila Prabhupada was and understand his effect in the world. This year marks the 50th anniversary of Srila Prabhupada coming to South Africa. And Srila Prabhupada left India in 1965 in August. So that's 60 years, right? So that's 60 years he went to America. 50 years he came to South Africa. And what age did he do that? He did that at 69. So today while driving home from campus, I picked up the girls, my daughter and her two friends. They were writing exams. And I was speaking about Srila Prabhupada, and they were a bit disillusioned because the maths paper was difficult, and they didn't know where to turn right now. And I told them, you'll have a day off, right? They said, yes. I said, so go and sleep on it. Don't worry too much. Krishna knows everything, and he's going to help in whatever way he can. So my daughter started laughing because I said, sometimes maybe the Lord will just change whatever answers you had in the paper. If they're wrong, he'll correct them. And it wasn't a joke, because my daughter said to her friend, her name is Simran, my daughter's name is Vasalia, and Vasalia says to Simran, did I not just tell you that? That's what happened in my maths paper too. I don't know how I did so well. And I said, because you have trust and faith in Krishna. You have trust and faith in Krishna. She said, but I wasn't positive. I said, but you were sincere. And this is Srila Prabhupada. His sincerity. Sometimes when Srila Prabhupada spoke, he spoke about his Guru Maharaj. He says that he didn't know what to do. He never knew what to do. But he just left everything because of his Guru Maharaj. He left his wife, he left his family, he left everything. And he just trusted Krishna. So, as a leader, as an acharya, what a great man. Let's use Prabhupada as that example. He left India, he went to USA, he then came to South Africa. And one of the reasons I'm sitting here is because of Srila Prabhupada coming to South Africa. And one of the reasons why he came to South Africa is because of that devotee, Shuri Prabhu. Shuri Prabhu came in 1972. And he was alone with another devotee, and that devotee left him all alone with a huge debt. But Shuri Prabhu still continued to persevere, even though he was persecuted and even though he was the government police and were after him. He hid, he ducked, he did what he needed to do, and he wasn't allowed in this country. He wasn't allowed in this country until 1994, after democracy prevailed with Nelson Mandela, who was also a great man, right? Nelson Mandela also came to the ISKCON movement based on the fact that Srila Prabhupada had introduced Krishna consciousness to the South African public. So Srila Prabhupada came here with all intent and purpose of spreading the movement of Krishna consciousness. And Krishna consciousness is ISKCON, if we just term it like that, or the Hare Krishna movement. It's one of the youngest movements in the world. Yet it is rapidly growing based on the fact that Srila Prabhupada is ensuring that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's words, that in every town and village, the message of the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna movement, will be spread through every town and village through Srila Prabhupada. So if we have to look at some sort of mentor or role model, we look at Srila Prabhupada and look at his life and his life's teachings, we understand that he traveled the world in 12 years, over 6 times. He built over 108 temples. He wrote over 70 volumes of literature. In that short space of time, in that age, from 69 to 77, you can't do much. You can't. To 1977, my apologies. So 81. You can't do much at that age. But he did. Because he was an empowered soul. And he was empowered because he had sincerity. He trusted Krishna. He traveled on the Jaladuta. He had heart attacks. He wrote a sincere poem. And Krishna carried him through. So that was the message that I was giving to my girls today. Because in the morning when I took some of them and I went back to pick up the rest, every one of them, every single one was afraid. They had fear. And so I asked them what that fear was. And fear is based because you don't know. If you know something, you're not fearful. If you know the outcome, you won't be fearful, correct? Because you don't know the outcome, you fear what is the consequence of what is going to happen. So there's a devotee that makes these AI videos of Lord Krishna. And there's a little girl that always asks Lord Krishna these questions. Beautiful animation. And so I played this video for them while we're traveling in this car about fear. And Krishna continues to say that, do not fear because I am with you. And she says, but what if I'm alone? Krishna says, I am still with you. Just think of me and hold my hand and I'll carry you through. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada did the same thing. He was fearless. And you'll know his name before he became Srila Prabhupada. Was Abhay Charan. Without fear. So he was without fear. And because he was sincere and he had firm faith and conviction, that his Guru Maharaj is going to guide him through this path, no matter what. He continued his journey. He went through trials and tribulations. He went through challenges and complexities. But he was sincere. He did not deviate from the path of devotion to his Guru and Krishna. And they ensured his success. So in this verse 3.21, there's many ways of looking at it. But the best way of looking at it is that if you consider a great person, consider Srila Prabhupada. There's no need to look any further. In spiritual life, obviously there's your parents, and without them you won't be where you are, and we should always bow down to our parents and give them all the dues that they need, because without them we won't be here. And because of them we got introduced to Srila Prabhupada in some way, by their teachings, by their doctrines, by the way they carry themselves. So they are also great people. The problem with society these days and age is that people, especially in this age, because this is the age of Kali, right? So in the age of Kali, it's known as the age of hypocrisy and quarrel. So there's a lot of hypocrites. You know, there's a song, "Hypocrite, you dirty hypocrite." You know the song? No? Some of you don't know the song? It's a reggae song. And they speak about being a hypocrite. And Prabhupada spoke in his purport there. He spoke about a person who smokes. I cannot tell you not to smoke if I'm smoking, because I'll be an hypocrite, right? So in this age of Kali, age of hypocrisy and quarrel, those who try to lead by example, but in the back are doing others, they face the bigger wrath of cheating and lying. So whenever we perform our duties, ensure that we are of impeccable character. Srila Prabhupada had impeccable character. There was no way in which anyone on this planet could point a finger and say that Srila Prabhupada did this and did that and did this and did that and did this. There's no way. There was no way, because his life, he lived a flawless life. Because he understood that he's creating a society. He is, in material terms, he is the brand ambassador of the society. Everything rests on him. Whatever he does, people will watch and they will follow. His devotees, his disciples, from the beginning, he taught them how to make chapatis. He taught them how to make ISKCON bullets, rasgullas. He taught them how to cook rice, how to do love feast. He taught them how to worship. He taught them how to dress the deities. He taught them how to put tilak. He taught them how to chant on beads. He did every single thing. There was nobody to help him because nobody knew any better. So every single thing in ISKCON started or emanated from Srila Prabhupada. So when we look at the verse, we speak about action and inaction. We speak about Krishna saying to Arjuna that you have to perform your duty. Because when you perform your duty, people will see that you're doing what you're supposed to do and they'll follow you. And that's basic understanding of the verse. Is Krishna is telling Arjuna that you must do your duty at the end of the day. And you're a great man, you're a great leader. So in order for people to see and understand what they need to do, you need to do. And if you don't do, then how will others understand and how will others learn from your action or inaction? So if he never do, it was inaction, akarma. So if he didn't do, some of us would not be even sitting here because we'll have no understanding of how to carry oneself in one's life. So in that understanding, we look at a few aspects. One, we look at ourselves personally. And what is our growth? And how do we want to grow? And what legacy do we want to leave behind? Prabhupada left an amazing legacy. You know, they speak about the Vapu and the Vani form. Vani meaning instruction, Vapu is personal. But Prabhupada, because of his actions and the way he carried himself, his instructions are so divine that even when he's not here, we're still carrying it through. How many people you know that you can follow even when they're not here? Very few. But because of the way you carried yourself and the way you put yourself out there and the way you portrayed yourself, people follow you. You leave a legacy. You want people to talk about the legacy you're leaving, right? You want people to look at your children and say, that man, the way he took care of his family. Look at his children, how they are behaving. And why are they behaving in the way that they are? is because of their father, how he grew them up. So that's a great man. His actions and how he carried himself. So those are the important points that we need to understand, that at the end of the day, we as people have to ensure that whatever we do should not be clouded by judgment from others. There shouldn't be a stigma attached because Paramatma was doing this. He's supposed to put the 3 chairs there, but every time he doesn't come and do it. Do you know? And people always talk about why Paramatma never put the 3 chairs there. But they forget about Paramatma ensuring that the Namahatta is running. It's because this is how people are, right? So when we see people put in positions and taking positions and taking on difficult tasks and leading, we should follow them because they're becoming righteous, right? Those who are not righteous, we leave one side because they shouldn't even be part of society and we shouldn't be looking at them. We should look at those who are cultivating good fellowship, good moral values, good ethics, and who are cultured. We as human beings right now, we are becoming uncultured, right? The society on the whole is becoming uncultured. And the reasons for that is because we do not have good leaders. If we had good leaders, we won't have a lawless society. The police will be run properly. You won't be fearful and have a security outside to protect you. You know? So if we start cultivating others to become Krishna conscious and show them that this leader of ours, Srila Prabhupada, was such a great soul, and chanting the Maha Mantra is so important because it cultivates the mind, body and soul and makes you a better person, then society in time will change. And the leaders on top, as His Grace Srila Prabhupada said, will be a spiritual person. And if there's a spiritual leader at the top, then automatically everything down comes right. So we don't have to be fearful anymore because we know that the ultimate outcome is glory for everybody because everyone's chanting the holy name of God. Like this. How much time do I have, Prabhu?
Another 5 minutes, but in questions after that.
Okay. So like this, Srila Prabhupada speaks about cultivating Krishna consciousness and that we shouldn't be attached to the results of our efforts. It's not easy to do, and we all understand that because we all have a sense of pride, a sense of ego, and that comes because it's inert. Over time we can overcome that, but it's not easy. So we all want to be valued and we all want to be appreciated in some way. So ensuring that we do something and not attached to the fruits of labor is not easy, but in time we become detached. In time we become detached because this is what the verse is. In Karma Yoga, it speaks about not being attached to the fruits of your labor. And only by chanting, by association of devotees, by constant engagement and reading of Srila Prabhupada's books and spiritual literature, can we uplift ourselves to become better men. And again, we're going to go back and say, great man, whatever a great man does, right? Others will follow. So, in saying this, we ask you, if you have the opportunity, there's Vyasa Puja offerings for Srila Prabhupada due on the 1st of June, which is Sunday. There's many activities with the Hare Krishna movement for this year. There's a 40th anniversary for Sri Sri Radharanath. There's a 50th year anniversary for Srila Prabhupada. And we honor him because of all that he has done for us. For me personally, he's done a lot. I'm here now for many years, and I was tipping the scale on the side of unrighteousness before I met the Hare Krishnas and read this beautiful book, the Bhagavad Gita. And it's all due to those leaders that took this movement forward in the years when it was difficult. Apartheid era since 1975 and the years before from 1972 and 74, and doing lots of preaching programs, 10 campaigns, building the Sri Sri Radharanath temple, which is 40 years old this year. They were all great men. They were all great leaders. So we should try and aspire to take a leaf or a page out of their book. Read the books of the gurus, understand who they are, what they did for the movement, and appreciate them. And the more appreciation we show for great men or great devotees, the more mercy will be showered upon us. Because this is what this organization is, right? ISKCON movement is based on mercy. We're based on mercy because of our sincerity. And the more sincere we are, the more mercy we get. And that's how it is. It's a ripple effect. And it'll continue to do that as long as you're sincere and you appreciate those around you who are in the position of leaders and who are doing good service. So I thank you for your time and your patience and your understanding and listening to me in my small philosophical way. I hope I presented that verse properly, and I hope I gave some clarity so that all can understand better. And if I have committed any offenses while speaking, please forgive me. It was not the intent. So Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So is there any questions for anyone?
No question. I got no question. I just got a compliment. I like to talk again. Right time, right moment at this 50th of Prabhupada celebration coming to South Africa. Nice, very nice.
Thank you, Prabhu. But all glories to go to my Guru, and all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Thing is, as I said to Paramatma Prabhu, I think that, preaching should be a practical thing. If I speak about my life experience, somebody can relate to it. Like that. And the truth of the matter is that this verse, it should only be spoken about Srila Prabhupada. That's the truth. In this movement, it should only be spoken about Prabhupada. Because he's the person that I owe my entire life to. I promise you, I owe him. I am forever indebted. I'm not going to lie to you. That's the truth.
Same with me. He turned me around. I didn't know where and which direction I was going. You're drowning in materialism. You don't know nothing. But when you take the Bhagavad Gita and read, then you're thinking, hey, what is other so-called gurus were telling us? And then you start to realize, I can't believe that now I'm sitting in the temple front of the church here, and we're talking spirituality.
Yes.
Never ever dreamed in my life that I'll be in the temple talking spirituality. Never. And maybe other things, other topics, and learned a lot of things. Can't believe it.
The truth of the matter, and I don't like to say this, but I think it's important right now because of what you said. So, on the 8th of July, 2003, I entered the Sri Sri Radharadhanath temple. And I spoke to a devotee. Her name was Rachel. She became initiated. Her name is now Rashada. She got married to Guru Kripa. I don't know whether some of you know these devotees, but they are now in Vrindavan and Mayapur. That's the day I entered the temple. That's the day I got my first Bhagavad Gita, and I got the book called The Elevation to Krishna Consciousness. I took the Bhagavad Gita home, and I started to read, and I couldn't put the book down. On the 13th of July, 2003, it was a Sunday, at about 12 o'clock, I drove to New Jagannath Puri. It wasn't built, it was still being built. And they had a Rath Yatra there, on the 13th of July. I bought the CD called Nothing But the Holy Name. I didn't have a CD player. It was by His Holiness Kadammakananda Swami. What a beautiful CD. That CD is one of the best CDs I ever had. And when I came home, my wife had cooked chicken. I pushed it away and I told my wife, please make me cheese toast. And from then I was Krishna conscious. So this book changed my life in 5 days. From what I was, and if people know me, they'll know, 5 days. So I know the power of the book. I know the power of Srila Prabhupada. Because I am, and as my daughter always says, Dad, you're a walking testament. I am. So I know he's a great leader. I know what he's put in these books. I know it's the truth because I'm living it. I experienced it in such a short space of time. For me, and people know me, it's an impossible thing for normal people to look at. But we are not normal, right? Hare Krishnas are not normal. We are a little bit abnormal.
Yes.
We are abnormal. Yeah.
True, very
The way we see life and all this is not the same. Because of our great leader, Srila Prabhupada. Nonetheless, let me not take any more of your time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.